Okay, so I wanted to make a video talking about this thing I've been into, the Summer Hikari died, because I kind of went crazy about it, and now I want to talk about it because art is very important to me, and I get kind of in my head about making art and stuff, so I thought I would just talk about it while I work on my next the Summer Hikari died animation. I really like the Summer Hikari died. Episode 11 came out as I'm recording this, and it was pure pain. I will never feel happy again, in fact, actually. It was... yeah, it made me feel like dog shit. But I still really enjoyed it regardless. It's an extremely beautiful episode. The color grading, again, I mean, not just the color grading, just all of the color and the animation and just everything. It's sound design, there's not one bad thing about that shit, bro. It's so good and I adore it so much. But I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because, you know, I just think about it sometimes. I want to make art that's so good that people, feel that way about it, you know? And I like to read interviews, especially a lot of the Moku Len interviews. They are very interesting. I really like the way that they compose themselves in their interviews and the way that they answer questions. I guess I just hope to make something that good because, I mean, they flipping started during the pandemic. They're like, oh, I got free time, I guess I'll try making mangas, and now they fucking made the Summer Hikari died, okay. And, you know, they talk about how they creating the reason that they create is because, you know, they feel like it needs to benefit society in some way. I'm paraphrasing here, and I'm paraphrasing from a translation I got from Deep Owl, so I don't know how accurate it is to what they're actually saying in Japanese. I still need to learn Japanese and learn how to drive and learn probably some budgeting stuff, you know, just all that adult stuff. I'm just putting it off because I gotta draw my silly favorite characters, dude, bro. I have furry fetish art to draw and fucking the Summer Hikari died fan art to make and Watamote fan art. No convention wants to take me anyway, so it's not like I need to learn how to drive for those, but we'll see. Anyway, back onto the topic at hand. I really like the Summer Hikari died. And I've made some amazing mutuals and stuff on Twitter through it, and it's just been, it's kind of changed my life for the better in a way that I was there was a distinct before I started reading it and after I started reading it in my lifetime, and it's probably one of the most beautiful and happiest I've felt in a long time, especially considering all the emotional stuff I've gone through this year. And it's also sort of fixed my dysfunctional relationship with my mother. What the fuck? I'm talking to her and we're getting excited about things, and I teared up over an episode today in front of her. What the hell is happening? But genuinely, it's been fun watching it with my mom, and that's really weird to say. And I like making little comics about her reactions and stuff, and it's all just, yeah. It's just been a crazy experience. I gained 2,000 followers on Twitter in just about 2 weeks since I started talking about the Summer Hikari died. It's still crazy to think it's only been 2 weeks and all of this has happened. And I don't know what to do with it all, you know? I fucking love this thing so much. And to think that, oh god, that season 1 is literally ending in a week. I'm not ready for it, but I really hope that they renew it for a second season. I don't know why they wouldn't renew it for a second season. That sounds like crazy talk to me. And I feel like if they weren't going to renew it, they'd have said something by now. But yeah, we'll have to see for sure. I've been enjoying it thoroughly. I also really love the manga. I love the way it's illustrated. You can see it on the screen over here. I'm using this as reference. Also, there's going to be spoilers for the Summer Hikari died. It's kind of obvious that I'm talking about it, but you know, just in case, I'm going to say it now. There are spoilers, so heed the warnings. But yeah, no, it's just been really fun meeting people who are also into the fandom and, you know, aren't really annoying and gatekeepy and policey about stuff, because I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to people seeing me as a weird freak of nature or whatever. But everyone else is just hey, if you're not an asshole and you're nice, go ahead, we'll be mutuals, we'll talk, and like they're just so ecstatic and nice to me, and it's just been so refreshing. I think that's the word. It's like my whole life has just been refreshed for the first time in a while. I kind of got this way when I got into Watamote, but the Watamote fandom is, you know, it's not the best. I mean, most of it is comprised about people who haven't even fucking, like, read the manga, which is really annoying, because then they want to have all these opinions about a piece of media that they haven't fully engaged with, and then they want to complain about it in my comments, but I digress. I've kind of become accustomed to it at this point. It kind of just comes with the territory of liking a thing that weird loser incels like. And that's not to say I'm not a weird loser incel. I spend all days and all hours like sitting in my room drawing, like I said, furry commissions or fan art for the mangas I like. But I feel like there's a better way we can go about, you know, handling this piece of media where we're not just being like weird losers acting like Tomoko should never be happy because they're not happy, and thus she can't be happy either because it doesn't fit into their like weird little fantasy or whatever. But off the cuff, and hey, I draw art of my favorite characters comforting me, telling me not to like harm myself or whatever. Like, I am not free from this cringeness, but I just feel like there's a certain way you can conduct yourself during all of it. Also, a lot of them are like homophobic and stuff, and I'm like, are we reading the same book? I'm going off topic. Sorry, we're supposed to be talking about The Summer Hikari Died. I really like it. I really like it. It's really cool. I love the art style. I love the characters. Hikaru in quotes is my baby. He's so cute. I've already made 1, 2, 3, 4 animations with them, I think. 3 being animation memes / AMVs, and then one of them being a little GIF. I'll put it on screen now. But I just really adore like a lot of how this is conducted. I can tell that the person writing it, Mokumokuren, and the team working on it at Cygames Studios, they all love this thing so dearly, and that makes me so happy, because I feel like, you know, you can't really half-ass. I'm just gonna move them over. There we go. Problem solved. You can't really like half-ass something like this if you want it to be anything that's memorable, and memorable is 100%. Like, it's more than just memorable. It's impactful. It makes me feel emotions. I never like cry reading stuff, but this manga has made me cry. Like, just re-looking at pages, I've gotten like teary-eyed. I've gotten kind of sad. It's I get a myriad of emotions. In fact, it's so beautiful, dude. I just think if you have the time, you should give it a read and then give it a watch. I think it's better if you read it and then watch it, because that's what I did. You know, given I read the whole thing in like 2.5 days, because I was hyperfixating so hard I literally didn't sleep. But, you know, it was good. I mean, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't really, really good, so. The way that Hikaru, in quotes, is like the commentary about like humanity being a monster and feeling like an outsider, and also the allegory that it has for people with queer identities and teens trying to come of age, I think it's just like so beautiful, especially the way that it's written. You can really tell that Mokumokuren like knows, like they know what they're talking about. They're not half-assing this, and that's something I really like, especially in their storytelling. It's just, you can tell it's made with love. You can tell every single like line on every page is done with love and with care, and that's something that's so beautiful to me. Reading the interviews, it's also just put like a lot of stuff into perspective. You know how, you know, even flipping one of the best mangakas I've seen in a while fucking talks down on their art, which is like I feel like every artist does that. I don't talk down on my art that often. I think I'm a pretty good artist. I mean, I'm no god tier artist, and the fucking sleeve on the shirt is definitely not looking good right now. It's not giving people confidence in my drawing skills, but also, I don't know, sometimes, especially like if I have a weird frame or whatever, it's like I'm gonna see this for such a short amount of time, is it worth going through all the trouble trying to fix it, kind of thing. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. In this instance, I'm gonna say that it isn't, because I got variants of this to make. I read their interviews with Vondi. I used DeepL to translate, and the way that they talk about, you know, how Hikaru was based on monster characters and they've always had an affinity for monster characters, and seeing how that affinity transfers into the manga and how they tried to make Hikaru a sympathetic character while being this monster with this kind of like irredeemable fate, but it's also like, it's not like it chose that fate either, I think is super interesting. And I just love hearing the motivations behind how the characters were created and how the creator talks about the characters themselves. That's always something I find interesting, because the way that the mangaka can talk about the character can be basically completely different to like how I interpret them in my head or whatever. And so I love hearing that from the source. I also have like a little bit of a fear, well, kind of a big fear of ever like doing stuff that's like out of character for certain people. So, for certain characters, so I try to also engage with the media a lot, just so I am not messing anything up too crazily, basically. And I think I got it down for the most part. Yoshiki is epic and silly, and Hikaru is epic and silly. Those are the traits that I keep in mind. There's obviously more than that. I mean, you can look at the just all of the things in my art. I go cuckoo bananas about these guys. I have more classical paintings and art that I want to create based off of them. It's a problem, but it's like the best problem I've ever had, because I've just been so motivated. I feel like my art has really upgraded, and it's just made me so passionate about a lot of things. It's also like I have something to draw other than Tomoko all the time, and that's not to say I don't like drawing Tomoko all the time, because I wouldn't be doing it for 3 years if I didn't like drawing Tomoko all the time. But I think also having other things that I draw more consistently or more often means that when I do go to draw Tomoko, it can feel a lot more meaningful, and just like I'm putting a lot more effort into it because I've taken some time away. You know, I take time away and then I come back and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. That's why I keep coming back to it, kind of thing. Although that does sound a little silly, but it makes sense to me. And I'm the only person that matters in this discussion. Because, I mean, to some degree, I am the only person who matters in this discussion, because it's, you know, my art that I'm making for myself. Sometimes I do make things for other people. A lot of my Tomoko fan art can be for other people to some degree, but it's more just like I like creating things that people will care about. And not to say that I don't create stuff for myself. Most of my art is very selfish in that I wanted the art to exist and thus it exists now, but I still deeply enjoy it when people appreciate my art, because I enjoy making people happy. And I think that's also why it can be kind of difficult for me to make like original art and stuff, because although it's self-fulfilling, I don't feel like it's really anything anyone else would ever care about. And I know that's kind of silly to say, especially when the mangaka for the fucking thing I'm making fan art for was basically like, I don't think anybody's gonna like this, and then like so many people liked it. But it's still just something that sits in the back of my head all the time, and it's hard to kind of get out of there, especially when I'm not creating anything with like OCs and stuff. It's like I can say that all I want, but then what am I doing? I'm making fan art for things that I like, that I think are better than anything I could ever make. And that's kind of the turmoil I'm in. Summer Hikaru Died has definitely inspired me to make some stuff myself, maybe, or just, you know, play around, fuck around and find out. I mean, why not? If Moku Moku Den didn't give it a go, then they wouldn't have had this beautiful manga that we have now. It's just so scary to make stuff, though, and to put it out there, and for no one to care. And it's not like I need people to care. It's not like that's something I depend on, but when I do art as my job, it's kind of important. Although most of the art that I do of my job is commissions and stuff, so it's not exactly the same, but I feel like you can understand the point I'm trying to make right now. Creating is such a beautiful thing, and this also goes into like, I feel like I don't watch enough media or engage with enough media and stuff, and when I hear about all the artists that inspire me so much, I hear about all of these shows that they're watching and movies they're watching and books they're reading and all of this, and all I really do is look at art and, you know, visual art, and, you know, listen to like the same music over and over again. And it's not to say that that can't inspire a lot of things, and I feel like it definitely does for me. I'm just an extremely visual person, and I also generally find it easiest to engage with stuff that isn't like written or shows and stuff to some degree, because I just like to make art all the time. And so it's difficult for me to do stuff like play games and stuff, because then I can't make the art all the time. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I'm supposed to take time away from drawing to do something else? That's crazy talk. That's blasphemy, if you ask me. But no, that's just my perspective on all this. I'm talking a lot about myself. I'm supposed to be talking about this show I like, but you clicked on this video to hear somebody ramble, and I am somebody, and I am rambling, so I hope you enjoy. The reason I got into the Summer Hikari Died is kind of embarrassing. Like, I have to tell people I was looking at like some freaky fan art, and suddenly I'm like extremely invested in this book. Like, what? Like, it's embarrassing. It's kind of as embarrassing as how I got into Watamote, which is that I saw fucking TikTok edits of her and was like, oh my god, her design is so cute, I'm gonna go watch the anime. And here we are, stuck years later, and I'm still drawing her, and she is so silly. And I think another reason, and I've seen people get slightly upset that I'm drawing the Summer Hikari Died characters more than I'm drawing Tomoko and stuff, is just there's a lot more to the Summer Hikari Died in that it facilitates things like animations a lot more compared to Watamote. And I know Watamote, you know, does have an anime, but it has to be said that it's more difficult for me to create, you know, interesting, extremely stylistic animations to a character who doesn't really do much other than like go to high school and stuff. And I still love her story, I love how she progresses in it, and I love all the other characters, but I also just don't have a lot of like audios and stuff in mind to put them in compared to the Summer Hikari Died. I've got like a whole bunch. I got like some TV Girl songs in my head, of Montreal songs, just a whole bunch of stuff. And I found some new music, and I've been really into that, and it's just like a constant for me. I've just been so creatively inspired for the Summer Hikari Died. It makes me so excited, and when I make art and people see it and they like it, and we, you know, they discuss it with me, and then my friends make really interesting threads about things that are happening. It's just all so beautiful and like intertwined in community, and it's so active, and I just haven't been in an active fandom in a long time. I for a lot of fandom stuff I kind of just keep to myself because people are really annoying and suck, but I decided for the Summer Hikari Died, you know, to give it a go, to talk to people, because I was really excited about this piece of media, and I think it paid off really well. You know, people are really interested in my art. I like to think so. I might be a little you know, overzealous with that thought, but generally speaking, people seem to really like what I make, and it's just been really encouraging. I really like playing with color and stuff, and I've been getting a lot of compliments on my color theory and such, so it's just been really uplifting, and it's been a little bit of an ego boost, I'm not gonna lie, but I have a worry that like nothing I make people will like ever care about, so having people follow me because my art is good, and having that happen so much, and in such a short amount of time, it's just a really nice way to tell myself, hey, no, the work I make is good, and people do like it, and I should make more of it. And, you know, I have a lot of theories about, well, the main one I subscribe to is the fallen angel theory, that like Hikari is a variant of a fallen angel in whatever god exists in this world, and I really like that theory. I think it plays into so many things in the story and fits it so well, and I'm surprised that it took like this long for somebody to make that kind of theory, and I'm also surprised that like my oomph did that. Like, I was there when that happened. That's so awesome. Like, that's so cool. And I actually have some animations I want to make based on that. I need to do like less intensive animations though, because I don't know if you know this, animation takes a long time, and I can't keep spending like multiple hours a day working on that when I've got work to do. But that's just September for you. It's really hectic. I'm taking on a lot of commissions this month because I am not going to have my commissions open for all of October, maybe all of November. I haven't decided yet. We'll have to see. But yeah, I just don't... I like having money, and I need money for my silly merchandise right now. And literally not for anything else, because I don't really spend money on anything else. And I don't know what I would even spend it on. If anybody's got any ideas for ways I can waste money, hit me up. I'm kidding. But I do need to get more Watamote merch. I feel like I'm lacking. But it's because I'm waiting for the other merch I ordered to arrive, and it's going to take like more and more months. I need to go to the post office to check that though. So, he's like, I'm not going to buy more merchandise from Zen Market until the order I previously bought on Zen Market arrives, because it feels kind of like I'm poking the bear a little, you know. If something's going to get lost, I'm now going to have 2 things that are lost instead of 1 if I go with that route. But we'll see. It's the same reason I haven't actually opened my shop. Well, the same reason but different is the shipping issues. I really wanted to open my shop again. People have been asking about, you know, especially my little plushies and my Tomoko fan art. That's the main thing people want to buy from me, which is fine. But I also like making other stuff, even if it doesn't sell. It sells. I mean, the other stuff. It's funny. The other stuff sells better in person, but online, my Watamote stuff sells better. So I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place on what kind of merchandise to make in that regard. But generally speaking, I like making merchandise in general because I can put it on my things. But I can't open my shop right now to international customers, and I don't have any local customers because, once again, I'm not getting into any conventions and stuff. So I don't really have people locally who even like know I exist who want that kind of merchandise from me. It's kind of just a pain that I deal with day to day. But what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Complain, like sit here and feel sorry for myself? No, I've got to keep making art and stuff. And I'm making art. I'm having fun. It's good. I have a lot of ideas for art I want to make, mostly of, you know, these guys, but I have other ideas too. I've been working on some OCs. Ooh, look at these. They're internet themed. I made like this whole crazy mood board for all the ideas I had about them. Well, not about them in particular, but about kind of like a merch drop I want to do, or like a merch drop, or like just a story I want with these guys. They're really cool. I've been wanting to do like internet themed stuff for a while, but it's also kind of like an oversaturated market, so I need to see how I can make myself stand out. You know, people love old internet, people love cat girls and all that good stuff, but I think I'm a pretty unique person to some degree, so I'm sure I could figure out a way to make it sound more interesting than it is. The only gripe that I kind of have with myself is that I'm really bad at writing, at least I think I am, so I find it really difficult to make things with written work and literature and even dialogue and stuff. It's difficult for me. I always seem to have grammatical errors as well, so it's like, why am I gonna do this if I'm just gonna make a fool of myself, bruh? I still think it's worth a shot just trying to make things again. I used to have so many OCs, and I did so much with them, but also so little with them, because like their stories would never go anywhere. I would constantly start comics and just never finish them, and sometimes I wouldn't even get past the first page because I just ran out of resources to draw the backgrounds or the characters. You know, I ran out of markers or whatever. And now that I have this digital format, I just like don't use it to its fullest extent. Like, you're telling me I have an endless canvas able to do whatever, and I sit here and I draw the same anime girl for 3 years. What the fuck am I doing? But no, I do genuinely love drawing Tomoko and stuff. I just also want to branch out and do other things, and it's really scary to say and do that because I don't feel like anybody follows my art because they like my art. I feel like they follow me because I make art of certain things, and so when I don't draw those certain things, no matter how much I love them, people don't want to look at my art, and that makes me really sad. And it also just makes me scared because it's like sometimes I feel like my only saving grace as a person is that I'm good at art, and if I wasn't good at art, I would just be some freak loser that nobody wants to talk to. So, and I feel like a lot of the ways I connect with people is also through my art. It feels like the way that I talk to people, you know, the way I communicate. And so the thought of not doing that, or doing that in a way where people don't want to communicate with me because of my art, I mean, that's a prospect that will give me nightmares tonight. I will think about that and feel bad. And I'm telling you right now, because you need to know that I will find a way to feel bad about it. There is no discussion. It's just a really difficult thing to kind of come over and accept that I'm gonna make art, and some of it is probably gonna be bad, and I love making bad art. It's just, I'm also just terrified of people. I'm not terrified of making things. I'm not really terrified if they don't care. I get scared of being forgotten, I suppose, and I want to make art that's memorable to people, but I feel like nobody will remember me with the art I make now, so what do I do? And I say all this, I'm probably gonna like contradict everything I say right now, because I think I'm a really good artist, and I know I'm a pretty damn good artist. Like, with technical stuff, I'm pretty good at studying colors. I've done a lot of mediums, and I do love a lot of art. I look at art all the time, visual art. I love art that looks bad, but it's interesting. I'd rather have something bad and interesting than something good and boring, and I know that makes me sound kind of stupid and a little bit pretentious. I also like stuff that looks good, don't get me wrong. I like good art, guys. A crazy statement, I know. It's difficult to say all that and feel like... And feel it, I guess. I can say all this and I can know it, but feeling it is the thing that's the most difficult for me, because feelings are so fucking complicated, which is, you know, another reason I love Hikaru. He's an extremely complex character who has difficulty understanding those kinds of emotions, and I may or may not headcanon him as autistic because I can. But it's all to say that I really like this manga. I wouldn't be going on this whole ramble if I didn't really like this manga, and I've already been going for 30 minutes, Jesus Christ. But I just hope it gets a season 2. I'm scared they're not gonna, like, what if they just don't do a season 2 then? What if they just don't do like, that's terrifying to me, because they haven't announced anything. My mutual said they're probably going to announce it after season 1 ends, which I do think is probably what's going to happen. If, you know, if they're going to announce there's a season 2, that's how they're going to announce it. But the fact that there's, like, no confirmation is still terrifying to me. Like, we're getting this far, we're seeing how popular it is. There's going to be a whole stage play with some fruity ass actors, and we don't have a season 2 confirmation. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Like, come on. Let's not be silly here. But yeah, I'm sure there's a reason for the delays. It's still just really nerve-wracking. The manga, though, I have been enjoying the updates. I have to do so much when I do my little funny translations. I also want to learn Japanese, because I don't want to just rely on DeepL, because, you know, what if there's like a fatal error or difference that I don't recognize until it's like too late, basically, in my little fan translations. And I can do those for interviews and stuff, because it's like literally nobody else is translating it, so it's kind of the only thing I gotta do. But I do want to learn Japanese just so I can be a bit more accurate with my translations, at least a little bit. Although learning languages is always difficult for me. I struggled to learn Afrikaans. I learned like a bit of Spanish and then I quit because I don't know, I forgot to use Duolingo and I got sad. Like, my streak died one time and I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna kill myself. I guess I'm just gonna hang myself now. I'm never gonna do this again. I'm never gonna learn a language. I'm never gonna be good at anything. And then after I got over that, I was like, I don't want to, reinstall Duolingo. I'm too lazy. Also, Duolingo kind of sucks. I got a bunch of AI shit going on. I'm not dealing with that. It's just, I got better things to do, like draw my favorite character. Again, it's just a lot of trying to learn stuff and be better at stuff. But thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed me rambling about this stupid thing, and also Watamote, because it always finds its way into my life, and also a bunch of other unrelated stuff, and maybe me complaining a little bit, but ignore that, because I had a fun time talking to you and letting it off my chest. I might make more videos like this in future. I don't really know. I just do whatever the fuck I want with this channel at this point. I know I'm swearing a lot more than I normally do, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just kind of talking off the cuff, casual, as if we're best friends. Did you know that you and I, we are best friends? I know you personally, and you are my best friend, and I love you. And that's all to say, colon 3.